Anger boiled over as the tall, infamous pirate Blackbeard shouted, "Attack!" The great pirate ship Queen Anne's Revenge fired off multiple cannonballs as the great battle at the high seas began. There were swords being plunged into people, there were fires being lit, there were parrots and monkeys flying around. And at the bottom of the ship, there was a giant treasure chest filled with gold. That's what Blackbeard was after. Well, maybe in our favorite fairy tales as 10-year-old children. While pirates are often portrayed as adventurous outlaws with a love for treasure, murder, and thievery, the real history of piracy during the Golden Age is much more of a darker tale, involving brutal survival tactics and a significant effect on international trade and exploration. Let's dive right into our lecture on piracy and why and how pirates became pirates. The Golden Age of piracy began roughly around 1690 and ended in 1730. WorldHistory.org says it's recognized as the Golden Age of piracy because of robbery on the high seas and at colonial ports reached an unprecedented level. Many pirates were experienced seamen that had grown tired of their grueling lives or had been unable to find work following wars in England and France. Many opportunities arose for piracy to explode, mainly because of after the age of exploration, European colonies outside the Mediterranean had begun to develop very quickly. This led to many merchant ships carrying lots of goods and treasures beginning to move throughout the ports and towns. The problem was that many of these merchant ships were left unprotected, which gave pirates a great opportunity to snatch up anything of value, such as coins, spices, weapons, tobacco, or even entire ships. Many pirates were on the high seas, out and about looking to steal goods, but none more infamous than Blackbeard. Nobody really knows about the beginning of Blackbeard, who's also known as Edward Teach. It was believed he spent his early years raiding French and Spanish ships in Jamaican waters during the wars of the Spanish Succession. Blackbeard took over his own vessel around 1717. It was named the Queen Anne's Revenge and is believed to have had 3 masts and was originally a slave ship. According to WorldHistory.org, it was thought to have had 40 plus cannons on it, which would have rivaled any naval ship at the time. Blackbeard's flag was a skeleton holding an hourglass in one hand and a spear pointing at a bleeding heart. It was there to remind people choosing to attack that their time was limited and the likely outcome was death. I hate to spoil it, but Edward Teach was not as great of a pirate as we thought he was. He had only captured roughly 23 ships in the end of his 15-month tenure as a pirate, and it's believed that he had only totaled up a couple thousand pounds. Not a ton of money, guys. He was killed on January 3rd, 1719 by Lieutenant Robert Maynard, and the rumor is that when he was killed, it took him 5 pistol shots and 20 sword slashes to finally die, and that his body floated around the ship multiple times with his head off. It's kind of creepy, but I know I'm disappointing a little bit about Blackbeard. Wasn't the greatest pirate, and he was really only famous for his intimidating appearance, but most pirate stories aren't as glamorous as we grew up thinking. Besides one pirate story, Henry Every, also known as the Pirate King, lives up to our wildest childhood dreams. He pulled off the greatest recorded pirate heist of all time. According to HistoryInfo.com, he stole roughly $400 million in today's currency from the ruler of the Indian Empire, the great Mughal Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb, considered one of the world's wealthiest and most powerful men at the time, was traveling around and had been left open to being robbed. The historical accounts say that the Pirate King's crew tortured and killed all the men aboard the Indian ship before slipping away to the Bahamas, which was considered a safe haven for pirates at the time. The English King William III put a large bounty on Henry Every and his crew. This is believed to have been the first ever worldwide manhunt. Every eventually slipped away to Ireland in 1696, and the trail went cold on him and his crew. In conclusion, I hope I could shed some light on the real world of pirates and how they came to be. It was not the romanticized life that we were raised to believe, far from it actually. Many pirates were forced into piracy as simply a way to survive. Even the greatest pirates we still know today, like Blackbeard, really weren't that successful. There are not many tales of hidden treasures or epic battles to be found throughout history, just many stories about the harsh realities that real-life pirates lived on their desperate race for survival.